Hello, Brian Hines, 10371 Lake Drive, Southeast. I'm speaking in opposition, as Mr. Shepke did, to the acquisition of right-of-way for the bridgehead in the Highland neighborhood. My testimony that I sent to the council yesterday got truncated in the written materials, so if you're wondering why it doesn't make complete sense, we'll figure that out with the recorder. What got put in there was the unethical part or unwise part of this decision, and I also have sections that deal with unethical and possibly illegal. So aside from that, thumbs up for a good decision. So, which doesn't leave anything left, of course. The unwise part is that you'd be buying property, as Jim said, for a bridge that probably will never be built in maybe 10 years, people have said in the written comments. So the city owns property. It's kind of like saying I want to build a house, but I'm going to buy a lot that isn't legal to build on now, and I don't have any money for it, but I'm going to buy it just because I hope someday I'll be able to be there. That's the unwise part. The unethical part, as Jim mentioned, is that the city made a commitment to the voters that the purchases would not be made until federal approvals for the bridge were in hand, and you addressed that question. So I'll use my remaining time on the possibly illegal, and that came from somebody much more knowledgeable than I about this, who, as I said in my message to you, I won't mention their name because I don't have permission to use it, but I can just tell from their comments, as I'm sure you could, that these are people that know about state and federal rules in this area. I noticed in the staff report the addition that these concerns aren't addressed, which makes me think that you guys also know that you are treading on some kind of shaky ground here. Because the point is that the federal government, there's a 2007 memo, has pretty strict rules about acquiring property for a right-of-way before all the approvals are in. It can be done, but if it conflicts with the National Environmental Protection Act, the environmental impact statement, then that can't happen. So I'll just read some of what he said. His takeaways, which I'll read first, are at a minimum, the city should be consulting with its partners, including both the Federal Highway Administration and ODOT, to make sure whatever acquisition they might do reflects a full understanding of relevant federal requirements. And I don't see that in any of your materials, that you have gotten permission from the federal authorities to do the acquisition. And also, federal regs get at the key point to be made. Early acquisition may not go forward if it prejudices National Environmental Policy Act decisions about need and alternatives. That's coming in the environmental impact statement. The wisest course is to postpone acquisition until NEPA and land use decisions authorizing the project are in place. If the city proceeds, this expert says, it will need to explain how its acquisition is consistent with NEPA. So if you're going to have to do that after the point is that you may not get federal reimbursement for the acquisitions, and in fact, in the worst case scenario, it could interfere with the entire approval of the third bridge.
I'm sorry, your time is up. Can you wrap up real quickly?
Oh, yes, I guess, because I might have not made that fast point clearly. It goes so far as to say that it could jeopardize the entire Salem River Crossing because you've made an acquisition that interferes with your ability to fairly conduct an environmental impact statement. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there questions?